Hey everybody, welcome to Love is a Warfield. I would like to introduce you all to the War Fam. My name is Morris.
I'm Milani, and this is Waylon.
That little guy is Waylon.
Waylon Wade.
Of course, Love is a Warfield is a play off of our last name. Of course, we are the Warfield family. And this little guy Waylon is a new addition to the family at just 3 weeks old yesterday. We wanted to introduce ourselves and kind of tell you how our life has been over the past 3 weeks.
We wanted to start a YouTube channel. Well, we've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for like 2, maybe going on 3 years now.
Couple years.
Yeah, it's been a while. But having him, and then also just the time that we're living in with the pandemic and everything going on.
Quarantine life.
Yeah, we decided to go ahead and start one now because kind of seems like the perfect timing in the sense because other than like my parents, like no family has been able, or even friends have been able to meet the baby, just because we do live in Arizona, and right now the numbers are going up. They're not going down, unfortunately, and so we're just waiting until it's safe to be able to meet people. And so this is just our way of being able to share him and kind of like what our daily life looks like with him. Since people can't see him in person, we thought that this might be another way that we can kind of share him with our family and friends. So yeah, that's why we're doing this. So,
exactly. She covered it all. So let's go back to Wednesday, June 10th. So this is just background because it's kind of crazy. He was actually due on June 23rd, and he came June 12th, but it all started June 10th.
Yeah.
So you had a doctor's appointment?
Yes, I had a prenatal appointment, and I was just going in for a regular checkup, like I normally do, because at that point I was 38 weeks and 1 day, and so at 37 weeks you start going weekly. So every Wednesday I had an appointment. I went in, and the Friday prior I had gone in because I was having some itching on my hands and feet, which is a sign that you can have cholestasis, which can be really dangerous for the baby. That's like a sign that your liver might be well,
he makes these sounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say disclaimer.
He makes these sounds regular basis.
He's very noisy baby, so
yeah,
if you hear grunting and all that, that's just him being normal.
Yeah.
He's very loud. So anyways, that is a sign that your liver is leaking bile acids, which can be really dangerous. And so I was afraid that that's possibly what I had. So I went in, they did blood work, sent me home, and that was it. Well, when I went in on Wednesday, which was June 10th, my doctor actually thought she was off, but she had heard that I was in, and she thought that they had actually sent me that day to the hospital to be induced. And so she was actually surprised to see me walk in for my appointment because she thought I had already had the baby. I don't know how that got mixed up, but I was like, nope, I'm here and I am still pregnant. So they checked his heart rate, and his heart rate did seem lower than what it had normally been at my appointments. And she felt like because I was still having the itching, the safest thing for us to do was to go ahead and me head straight to the hospital to be induced. So yeah, that's kind of pretty much what happened. And we wouldn't get the results on that test, at the blood work that I had taken the past Friday. We wouldn't get those results until that week on Friday the 12th, which ended up being the day he was born. So, and she just did not feel comfortable waiting to get those results back. She really felt like, you're full term, you're 38 weeks, like we should go ahead and try to take the baby now because it could be dangerous. So that's pretty much why I ended up having him early. So yeah. Kind of a long explanation, but yeah.
So June 10th, that Wednesday, I'm at work, and I work at a grocery chain. So I'm at work and I'm doing my job. Milani calls me, and so whenever I'm always busy at work for the most part. And she calls me. Right when she calls me, an associate of mine comes to me and starts having a conversation. Now, usually Melanie doesn't go for like, if somebody talks to me at work, she just hangs up. Like she doesn't.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah,
it's
she
like
just
a
hangs
huge
up.
pet peeve of mine.
I get back on the phone with Melanie. Melanie's like, "Do I have your attention now? Do I have your attention? Are you listening to me?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, you know, I'm at work. Like, what's up? What's up?" It's like, "You need to go home right now and get it back, cause we're about to have this baby today." And I'm like, all freaked out because I'm at work. I'm like, "Oh, you playing?"
I was a lot calmer than what you're making me sound like.
No, you were like, "Do I have your attention now? Do I have your attention now?"
I did not say it like that.
How'd you say it?
I said, "Do I have your attention?" I was very calm because
Maybe I was freaked out then.
He was freaked out. Like, he probably thought that's what I sounded like. I did not sound like that at all because I was not trying to freak out. Like, I needed to remain calm so that way I didn't have like a complete like nervous breakdown panic attack like in the hospital. So I was like, "Do I have your attention? I have to go to the hospital. We're gonna have the baby. This is not a drill. Go home, get the bags, and meet me at the hospital."
Maybe that's just how I remember it in my
but
head.
you were freaked out, yeah.
Cause so I called my boss just to let him know, like, hey, cause they already knew when our due date was. So I called her on the phone and let her know, like, hey, it's happening. My wife's at the at the hospital already. I gotta go. So I finished up what I do and I head home. I'm telling you, it's usually about a middle of the day, 20-25 minute drive home or whatever. I felt like that drive was 45 minutes. I felt like every car was on the road and it was going so slow or whatever. So I get home and it's like a couple of things I know. And when I tell you, Melanie had bags on top of bags packed. I mean, you would think we about to go to Vegas, like for real.
I condensed it down. You only had to bring one bag. And the diaper bag.
Was it? No.
Yes, we only had the black duffel bag and then his diaper bag. Remember, we
had
your bag,
we
my
did
bag,
have
and
my
his
bag and all that stuff.
But I condensed it down so that way you didn't kill yourself. And then we thought you were going to have to carry the car seat, but you didn't. I carried the car seat.
You brought the car seat in.
Because I got there first and it was all in my car, so.
But
it wasn't that bad.
But they were stuffed. It was like a big duffel.
It was stuffed, yeah.
It was like a big duffel. It had snacks and everything.
Which it ended up being good. It was because I used a lot of that stuff that was in there because of how long we were there, how everything happened. Morris didn't use anything. Like we'll talk about that later, what he actually used, but he didn't use jack. Did you even change your clothes? I think you changed once.
Yeah, I changed into some shorts.
Did you take a shower?
Yes.
You did take a shower. Yeah, I know, but I couldn't remember.
Or was it twice?
I think you did take, because I know I took
it was
one.
once.
I had to. Yeah, because we weren't.
Because I was stinking the first few days. Like for real, I was in there stinking the first few days.
Oh gosh.
But
it was a rough few days, but we'll get into that later. So yeah, so you get to the hospital.
Well, no, like, so I get home and her mom's yelling at me about make sure you get this and make sure you get that or whatever, and she's like, Melanie said to make sure you get your chargers and toothbrush. And I'm like, okay, mom. But so anyway, we got everything. We're in the car, so she's trying to remind me of stuff or whatever, and she asked me, have you eaten something? Do you want something to eat before we get there? I'm like, fine. We went to McDonald's and I got a spicy chicken sandwich, and I didn't realize how far away it was. So I got the McDonald's kind of in my lap, and I'm like texting like my mom and my friends, whatever, let them know, hey, it's about to happen or whatever like that. And she's like, boy, you better eat your food or whatever. We almost there. And I'm like, oh, for real? I'm thinking like we about to drive some distance to a hospital or whatever. So I'm like trying to scarf down my food, and we pull into the hospital, and I'm like, oh, okay, man, just keep the drink or whatever. I'm finished. I'm good. I'm good. We get to the hospital, and we're trying to find out where to go. And I'm talking to Melanie. She's like, you remember last time it was on the side of the building and whatever? Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember. I'm trying to direct her mom. And long story short, we at the wrong freaking hospital. Like, her mom freaked out, trying to make sure I'm straight. Like, I got all the stuff packed and I got food and all that stuff. She takes me to the wrong hospital. So, we luckily the other hospital, what's the distance between them? It's just in a different direction or whatever. So we ended up going to the other hospital, and then You know, I take everything in, and now we're in the hospital.
Yeah, so I get to the hospital. They had already, like, I'd already been admitted and, like, had my IV in and started me on some medication to start the induction. So pretty much they said Wednesday, just, like, get as much rest as you can. And they kept saying, like, you're going to have your baby probably early tomorrow morning or that afternoon, right? That's what they were saying, and which would have been the next day, which would have been the 11th, which was a Thursday. So we're thinking, okay, so within the next, like, 24 hours, pretty much, we're gonna have him. Well, I started the medication to start, like, ripening my cervix, and then they, at 4 in the morning, my doctor came in, and she, hold on. 4 in the morning,
like
she, yeah, 4 in the morning, she comes and she broke my water, and then she said that should really start, you know, things moving along. And also at this point I was still 1 centimeter dilated. They started Pitocin. That's what the other thing was. So they started that, and my goal was to go, like, as natural as possible. So being induced was not something I wanted, but I also knew that with the information that we had, it just seemed like it was the best thing to do. So yeah, not what I wanted at all, though. Complete opposite. But so yeah, that happened, and then I was laboring for, I don't know, I honestly cannot even remember. It just felt like forever, laboring with the Pitocin contractions. No medication. I'm walking around the room. I'm squatting.
On the bounce ball.
Yeah, on, like, the exercise ball. And they checked me again, like, hours later, still 1 centimeter dilated. So at that point, I felt a little bit defeated at that point. But I knew I was getting really, really tired, because the night before I only got like 2 hours of sleep, because every 2 hours they're coming in the room to give me more medicine, and in between that they're coming in to check my vitals. And so I was so exhausted at that point.
So time frame.
This is,
well, so Wednesday, what time did you wake up Wednesday?
I woke up at 7:30. No, 7 o'clock.
What time, you remember what time you went to sleep Tuesday night?
Honestly, I can't remember. It was probably like 10, 11.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I usually went to bed around 10, 11.
So let's just say she got 8 hours. She got 8 hours of sleep Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Okay, and we're on Thursday.
Yeah, so this is Thursday. I'm going to say this is, do you remember what time it was that I got the epidural? I feel like it was late Thursday afternoon or late Thursday evening.
It was in the evening time.
It was in the evening, right?
Actually,
I pretty much labored all Thursday.
So
at least 12. Would you say at least 12 hours?
So she went into the hospital Wednesday at 2?
Yeah.
2.
I literally walked in.
So she had been up since 7 o'clock that morning. So you text me at 11:47 Thursday morning. Now this is with her being up since 7 o'clock Wednesday. Because she didn't sleep
and contractions started on Wednesday when they started giving me that cervical ripening medication. They weren't as bad because I wasn't on Pitocin, for one. That makes it really bad, the pain worse. And then on top of that, my water wasn't broken. So, but I was having contractions. So I was having contractions, I would say, from at least 3 p.m. Wednesday up until 4:30, where they gave me more Pitocin, broke my water. I'm sorry, started the Pitocin, broke my water, and then they really got bad and painful, like from the jump. There was no, like, working up to it. And then I would say I probably got the epidural like 1 p.m.
Yeah, it was sometime in the afternoon.
Because
and then they had to make sure the guy was, you asked me about it around noon.
And it's still, like, I still just was not.
Right, because I told you I was there regardless. I'm there. So if you want to tough it out, because it was her plan to do it all natural. So, you know, I wanted her to feel like she succeeded. Whether she got it or not, she succeeded in going as far as she could without it. It's, you know, especially with her not progressing, like, you know, her
well, see, that's when I decided I'm definitely getting it, because I'm thinking from 4:30 to 1 something, I have to be dilated.
Right.
So, and I actually thought I was getting really close because the pain was so bad. I started feeling nauseous. I started shaking, and I started feeling like I just was like I wanted to pass out or throw up. And for me, like with all the research I've done and with the birth class that I had taken, that that to me was like, okay, I must be close to transition, which is like between 7 and 10 centimeters. And so when they checked me again and they told me I was 1 centimeter after all those hours and all the pain I was in, I was like, there's no way I can labor even longer with this pain. I'm completely exhausted and I gotta push him out at some point. Like that's what I was thinking. Like I'm gonna have no energy to do that. So I just decided go ahead and get the epidural, because in my mind we still had a long ways to go. So got the epidural probably around 1 p.m. At that point I'm stuck in bed now. I can't move. They've got like the peanut ball in between my knees to try to help me dilate, and I had like an awesome nurse at that.
Oh yeah, at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think her name was, I can't
She was
remember
some
her name.
young
I think
girl.
her name was
She was-
Monica. Was it Monica or Monique?
Y'all had a good vibe together.
Yeah,
I do
she
know
was
that.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had her
And we were at St. Joseph.
the
by
longest
the way,
duration. I had her the longest.
And she kind of didn't even want to. What'd she say? Because she didn't even want to leave, huh?
No, yeah, she didn't want to leave. Like, well, we'll tell you when she ended up leaving, but she knew at that point, like, the baby was coming. And so, but her shift was over. And so she was sad.
Oh, yeah, because she was there all
She
the way
really
till
wanted to
Friday
be able
morning.
to
Because
meet the
she's the one
baby.
you told that you wanted to.
Yeah, because I kept asking
Yeah.
every nurse, like, are you going to be here when he comes? Are you going to
Yeah.
be here when he comes? Like, who's going to actually be here when I actually push him out?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, they were just in and out. It was, I don't know.
yeah, I feel like we ended up having like 8 nurses the
Yeah.
entire time we were there. I think just my labor, I had 6. Anyways, we had quite a few people. And so pretty much just labored as much as I could. The epidural ended up failing. One half of my body was still feeling the contractions, which it was like, what was the point in getting it? Because I got it so that way I could have the energy to be able to push him out in the end and relax until I got to that point that it was time to, really have him. And I couldn't even relax or sleep still because I felt the contraction still on my left side. My right side was so numb, and then my left side was slightly numb, but I could still move my leg, wiggle my toes, I could lift it up and down. My right was completely dead, like I couldn't move my leg or feel anything. But my left side, and then I of course could still feel the contractions, so I'm still like breathing through these contractions, and then I'm stuck in bed because my right side's completely numb too. So it was not fun at all. It was not fun at all. So I would say that pretty much takes us all the way up until 3 in the morning.
Yes.
I told my nurse, I said, can you please just check me, because I need to know if I'm progressing or not. And if I'm not, then we got to talk about what we can do. She checks me and she goes, you're only at 1 centimeter still. At that point I knew like we had to do something, because my water had been broken. It would be almost a complete 24 hours later, in about an hour and a half.
And it's 3-something Friday now.
Yeah,
and
now
remember,
this is Friday morning.
She's been up since 7 because every time she tries to get a nap in, well, for one, she's dealing with the contractions, but then they're coming and they doing vitals, they're doing this, they're giving her the drink, like, so she can't even go to sleep because they're always in there. Like,
I literally had,
yeah.
From the time
At one
I
point,
got
I think
there
it was like
at
every 30 minutes, I felt like, but.
From the time that I got there at Wednesday at 2 p.m. until we had him, I had only slept 2 hours that entire time. At 3 a.m., I decided to ask them about having a C-section, because the only thing I kept thinking in my mind is that, okay, so his heart rate this entire time that I've been at the hospital has been good, and I've been good. Nothing's working. My body is not progressing at all. So I truly felt like I still wanted at the end of the day for us to have like a good birth experience, in the sense that like it didn't end in some like traumatic emergency, because that would have freaked us both out. I wanted to kind of take control and say, look, we're both good at this point. I really don't think if I sit here for another 5-6 hours, there's no way I'm going to be at 10 centimeters. Like, I've been sitting here since Wednesday and nothing's changing. I pretty much told the nurse if they could call my doctor and ask her about me having a C-section. Tell her, you know, I'm still only 1 centimeter dilated, and ask her what she thinks. And they called her and they came back, and she actually ended up coming into the office too, and they agreed that that was like the best decision to make, because I told them I don't want at some point for me being in labor all these hours to become stressful for the baby, because he feels every contraction I've been feeling. It's got to be stressful. My waters were broken already, and I just didn't want it to be like, okay, it's emergency C-section, we got to take you now, you know, and his heart rate's dipping. Like, that would have been awful. So it would have been more traumatic than the experience had already kind of been. So yeah, when I asked for a C-section, they prepped Morris, and he was like really nervous and really scared. I had like this weird sense of peace and calm come over me. I had prayed about it, and I just was not, I was tired, and I was just ready to meet our baby. I can't even explain to you like the exhaustion that I felt, and then it just gets worse after that, because then I couldn't sleep because he was here. They take us back, you know, they're prepping me, and Morris is ready. Then they bring Morris in, and they start getting to work, and then at some point they drop the drapes, and I see him, and I just start crying, because I was just like so happy that he was finally here.
Did you cry?
Yeah, I was crying, and I remember like looking at you. I pretty much stared at Morris the whole time. Yeah. Because I was like very calm, but I could tell he was really scared and nervous for me.
I had just saw a movie about a person who had a C-section, and it went bad, so I was freaked out because I knew that's not what she wanted to do. Yeah, and I'm like, oh man, something might go bad. Now I got this new baby, and you know, so I was a little nervous.
Worst case scenarios were going through Morris's head, and I was just like,
oh, she was over there peaceful.
Yeah, I really was. Like,
and
not to say I wasn't scared. I couldn't go there too much. Like, I just was like, no, we're gonna have our baby. Like, and it truly felt like the right decision to me. So I didn't have anxiety over it. It's like the one thing that I feared the most happening was like being induced and ending in a C-section, and all those things happened. But having a C-section and me being in control of saying like, yes, that's what I want to do, and just telling them, it ended up being like the best part, I feel like, of our delivery. So yeah, they drop the drapes, they, you know, pull him out, and he's instantly screaming and crying, and of course that makes you feel good. And they give him to the nurses, and then Morris gets to go with him, with the nurses out, and then they finish me up in the operating room, and I could hear him like kind of down the hall, or it was really like across the hall, crying, and it was just, I don't know, I felt good and at peace. And I remember the doctor, the anesthesiologist, he told me, he said, once we fully numb you, all this tension and how tired you really are and exhausted you are, like right now you're running on adrenaline, he's like, all that's gonna go away, and you're gonna feel really tired once we start the C-section. And I was like, okay. But I was not expecting, like, I was so tired while they were working on me. I kept telling myself, you have to stay awake, you cannot fall asleep, like you have to be awake to hear your baby, you know, and see him like be born. I was like, I cannot fall asleep. But he was right. Like, all of that adrenaline that's like keeping you awake and stuff, and he's like, all that will go away, and you're gonna feel really exhausted because you've been in labor for hours. So yeah, he came out at 340.
340, 6 pounds, 10 ounces, 19 inches, 10 toes, 12 fingers.
See you in the next video. Yeah, so after they got done with me, they wheeled me you know, into the hallway. I see Morris. You were holding him, right? Were you holding the baby
when you came up?
Yeah, you were holding him and sitting in a chair.
Yes.
And I was, you know, I wheeled past you guys, and I saw the baby. They take us to our room, and Morris brings him over to me, and he goes, our baby's a superhero. And I was like, like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And mind you, I'm like on all this medication, so I'm like so loopy. And I was like, what? And he goes, he's got 12 fingers. And I was like, no way. And he shows me, I was like, oh my gosh. The doctor said he had 10 fingers and 10 toes at our anatomy scan. I was so shocked I couldn't believe it. But yeah, he does. He's got an extra pinky on both of his hands.
We'll have to show an up close video, like a picture. We took a picture of it.
Yeah.
We'll post it so you can see it up close.
So I forget what it's called, but it's really common actually. And all the nurses thought that, like, they were like, oh my gosh, like, did you guys know? And like, they see it a lot, I guess.
The doctor said it's a very common occurrence. So what she said is very common occurrence, but it's usually passed down from somebody in the family. So we've called. So any family members out there watching this,
yeah, some of you got an extra toe or something and not.
Y'all not being honest, because everybody has said that nobody on our side of the family has an extra pinky or anything like that. But the doctor did say it's very common. It's easy to remove, but it's usually something that is like genetic, because it's happened,
hereditary.
Yeah, it's happened before already in the family. So it didn't start with us. So somebody.
Yeah, neither one of us had an extra finger or toes, but somebody on one of our side of the family did. And, we haven't figured out like whose side of the family it's from, but it's actually really cool that he actually has an extra finger on both hands, because a lot of the times it's just one or the other, which is what the surgeon had told me. But anyways, they said it's easy to. They said it's easy to remove. So pretty much once we left the hospital, we got discharged on Sunday, which was the 14th. We had a pediatrician appointment to take him to on Monday because he had a tongue tie. So we had to get that corrected, and that just helped us be able to, for him to be able to latch better, because we are breastfeeding, and or I am breastfeeding. He tried to breastfeed off Morris today. Didn't really work that well. Then Tuesday, we had a surgeon appointment that was going to take care of or do the procedure to remove the 2 extra fingers. Pretty much what we were told was that he could leave them. We could leave them for a year and then remove them when he's 1, or we could do it now. We didn't want to wait a year with him at some point crawling, possibly walking. You know, at that point when he gets mobile, he can get into stuff, like they could get snagged or pulled, because it's not being held on by that much skin. It's not like a regular, his other fingers. Kind of felt like it would be better to remove them now while he's little and isn't mobile, and we don't have to necessarily fear them being I hate saying this, but fear that they would get like ripped off. Like that would hurt worse than the little snip it's gonna take to remove them. Especially one of them is slightly has a little bit more blood flow to it than the other one, the surgeon said. So if that were to come off, it would be bad if that were to happen at home. So that's gonna be done July 7th, and so once we're past that, we'll be good. So that's just something unique about him. We were completely shocked, like we said, but yeah, it's been interesting. Since we've had him. It's been quite the journey. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, that's been our journey for the past. Well, that's our birth journey. Yeah,
the labor and delivery journey, which this is already going to be a long video just going through that, but that is the very shortened version of it. Honestly, overall I would say like it was a good experience in the sense that all of the nurses were amazing. They really were. And I was really scared that being in a hospital that they wouldn't be supportive of my wishes or things, and honestly I encountered one that was like that, and the rest were completely just on board. Like they were so really nice and really great. So yeah, I will forever be grateful for all of them. They were so sweet, and they absolutely loved the baby. Oh my gosh, they were just like always talking about how cute he was, and yeah, they just loved him so much. So 2 becomes 3. Yeah, so now we're a family of 3, and like we said, we just wanted to start this channel that way everyone could feel like they're a little bit more a part of like his life, and we get to share him a little bit more like with our friends and family. So even for our extended family, because Morris is from Tennessee, Nashville, so all his family can see him too. So yeah.
we're gonna try to put out a video at least once a week to kind of give updates on how he's doing, how we're doing, because believe you me, we are adjusting and adapting ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, he's growing, but we're also growing too, because as new parents, you know, you find out new tips, new tricks, you know, new baby hacks, diaper hacks, you know, all that stuff. We'll have to give you guys a view of his room that we had set up.
Yeah, behind us, you can see the halo right in between us, but
Yeah.
we'll do like
We actually had moved our whole room around before he came, like really just in time. When did we do it?
And we did it at I think 36, 37
Oh,
weeks.
was it? Okay.
Alright guys, well thank you guys for watching this video, and we'll try to do like weekly updates, and then as we get better at this whole thing, you know, we'll try to do better updates, or more frequent updates I should say. So subscribe to our channel. You can have the notification bell turned on, that way you can know when we upload. We're not sure exactly what day we're going to try to do it, but at least weekly. So so yeah, then you guys will know when we actually have a new video up, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So yeah.
Here, sending love from the War Fam.
Alright, see you guys later. Bye. There we go. So this is baby Waylon. Say hi. His hair. So funny. Yep, so this is Way Way. And we told you guys. Oh! He just got done eating, so he just burped. And we told you guys how he's got an extra pinky. Here's his extra pinky right here. He's got another one on the other hand. So, but yeah. So this is baby Waylon. And his big cheeks. Oh my goodness. Say bye-bye.